Hi, and welcome back to Bounce Forward with me, Tiff Hall. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders past and present. Nicole reached out. I have an 8-month-old and she is in a sleep regression as well as teething like crazy. I haven't slept properly in months and it's starting to take its toll. I know it's just a season and soon she will be older and sleeping better and I can get back to the lifestyle that I love. But for now, what is the most important aspects I should be focusing on? Clean eating? Just reaching my water goal for the day, at least something like getting a walk in. Sometimes even these are a challenge. What are the best exercises to stick to when you are feeling sleep deprived? Oh, Nicole, I feel you. Every mum out there is feeling you right now, and I've been through horrendous moments with my kids, teething, sicknesses, just blatantly, I'm not going to sleep, mum, and standing up in my cot, and you're watching them on the monitor going, oh my goodness, go to sleep, and they just won't. It's highly frustrating and it's very fatiguing. Now, I'm a big believer. My personal motto is something comes from something, but nothing comes from nothing. So I really like to rely on exercise snacking rather than doing structured exercise when I'm fatigued. And this is really, really important. When you're sleep deprived, it's important to lower the intensity. So you don't want to be at risk of injury or overstressing your body, which is already under so much strain from sleep deprivation. So best types of exercise when you're sleep deprived, really, it's whatever you can do, whatever you feel like you have the energy to cope with. I like to keep it light aerobic activity, walking, really slow jog, really cycling at an easy pace or swimming because it boosts circulation, releases those endorphins, which boosts mood when you're sleep deprived, and it improves energy and mood without overtaxing your body, right? Stretching or yoga, big fan of this as an exercise snack. Child's pose, cat-cow, forward folds feel beautiful when you're sleep deprived. And it reduces that muscle tension, promotes relaxation, and it helps you reset your nervous system. So I always like to think about exercise when I'm sleep deprived, and it still happens in -7 and 2, as not exercise, but regulating nervous system. I'm not burning calories, I'm regulating my nervous system. And the more you regulate your nervous system, the more that you're able to then get a good night's sleep when you can, okay? So then you've got body weight exercises like push-ups, squats, lunges in the lounge room. Train with my TXO, select a 10-minute express workout and just do 10 minutes. Press play, let the trainer tell you what you need to do and take your mind off what am I going to do, how many push-ups, how many reps, how many sets. Take that stress out of it and do a home workout. Maintains that activity level without the heavy weights, okay? And then low-intensity strength training. If you want to get out of the house because you've had a bad night, just go and do some light weights that aren't going to stress your nervous system. You want to avoid high-intensity workouts, your HIIT training, for example, because they're going to increase your cortisol levels and strain your body further. You want to really reduce your loads with heavy lifting because, again, poor focus, lack of coordination because you haven't slept, you're likely to injure yourself. And I've injured myself multiple times. I fell over doing a step up, holding some weights when I was sleep deprived, and I had to have a wrist reconstruction and I just fell backwards. It was just a wobble in coordination, but because I was sleep deprived and I just had Veda, that led to another surgery. And then you want to really minimize prolonged and very intense cardio because this leads to just over exhaustion and already fatigued system, like nervous system, it's just going to grate. So you really want to listen to your body at this time. If you're feeling dizzy, mentally foggy, it's also okay to wave the white flag and do nothing. Have a rest day. You don't need to exercise. Sleep deprivation is clinically proven to dehydrate you, so you want to make sure that you're drinking a lot of water before and after exercise, and even on those days when you don't do any exercise but you are sleep deprived. Keep the session short, 20 minutes max, right? And then just focus on movement quality over the quantity. So make sure that your form is good, that you're doing something that is not intense and that you're feeling really good about the technique so there's no injury. I'm a big believer in exercise snacks. So 10 minutes, 20 minutes, it all counts to really boost your endorphins. It's so important. And you can then feel more resilient to deal with the next night that's going to come up, because there are no days off as a parent. And I think that realization hit me like a ton of bricks when I had Arnold. There are no days off. There are no recovery days. There are no reset days. There's no sleeping in. There's no catching up. And so you have to then make your schedule have what I call green time, where there is recovery and relaxation time built in around the red time, which is the stress time. And that stress time at nights, if you're having a red night where there's no sleep and you're highly stressed from work, then you need to make sure that your morning isn't having a red training session that's intense. You need something green, like a yoga session or stretching session, or just nothing at all. So I feel you, Nicole. It's really, really, really tough. But the good thing is, as they get older, it does get easier. The sleepless nights do happen, but they only happen on occasion when they're sick or when they have a bad dream. And, it does get easier, but you're in the trenches at the moment, and you really need to have self-acceptance and compassion for yourself at the moment, and make sure that even if you're getting your walk in, even if you're hitting a water goal for the day, that is something, and something comes from something, but nothing comes from nothing. Becky contacted me with a great question. Tiff, help. I've jumped on the smartwatch bandwagon, and with all the data, this thing says my VO2 is poor and I'm 12 years older than my actual age. How do I fix this? Do I just run every day until my cardiovascular system is better? Is this just a theoretical number? Surely a watch on my wrist can't measure this accurately. Such a good question, Becky. Oh, yes. Okay. So for everyone listening out there, let's start with what is a VO2 max, okay? So VO2 max, or maximum oxygen uptake, is the maximum amount of oxygen your body can utilize during intense exercise. So it's considered a key indicator of cardiovascular fitness and aerobic endurance. So VO2 max is typically measured in milliliters of oxygen per kilogram of body weight per minute. The higher your VO2 max, the more oxygen your body can use, and the better your physical fitness level. And it depends on a few factors. So you've got your heart and lung function, how efficiently your heart pumps blood and your lungs transfer oxygen. So that's like one factor. You've got muscle efficiency, how well can muscles use that oxygen? And then you've got your age and genetics, okay? Because your VO2 max will generally decline as you get older. So how do you improve your VO2 max and your training? Such a good question. So there's about 3 or 4 ways you can do this. Number one, and the biggest bang for your buck and my favorite, is high intensity interval training. So short bursts of high intensity effort followed by recovery periods. Example, 30 seconds of a run followed by 1 minute recovery. Repeat, for 20 minutes. That's an example of high intensity interval training. Very simple example. And HIIT improves both your aerobic and your anaerobic energy system. So your VO2 max is going to soar if you keep doing your HIIT. Then you've got long steady state cardio. Some people are big fans of this. They love going for a long run. It's good. It's meditative for them. It's good for their mental health. You're outside. I totally get it. Whether it's cycling, running, walking, going for a swim, for 30 to 90 minutes, this strengthens your heart and lungs, and it improves your overall oxygen delivery. Then you've got your threshold training. So exercising at or just below your lactate threshold, or the point where your body produces more lactic acid than it can clear. An example of this is like running at a really challenging pace for 20 to 40 minutes. And this increases your ability to sustain higher intensities for longer. It's a really good way of training, but you do need to be very fit for it. So it's not something I would give a beginner. Okay, so you would need to have a established fitness level before you try some threshold training. Then other types of training, you can do your cross training and fartlek training, which is a mix of steady state cardio and intervals. But also I have to mention my favorite, strength training, which incorporates, all your big lifts like deadlift, squats, and it builds that muscular strength and endurance. And people don't know this about strength training, but the stronger your muscles, the more oxygen they can carry and the more efficiently they extract that oxygen, and therefore your VO2 max is going to go up. So strength training is really, really good for you. Now, nutrition-wise, you need a balanced diet rich in whole foods that fuel your training and recovery. So that's a lifestyle factor that will support your VO2 max improvement. Rest and recovery is really important as well, because the more your muscle rests, the more it can optimize performance. Of course, hydration is really important for cardiovascular function, and sleep, high quality sleep, critical for that adaptation of the muscles and to really recover. So you can regularly test your VO2 max through using fitness apps, wearable devices, seeing a PT that can take you through a VO2 max test, physical test. But let's look at the smartwatches and how they actually work. So smartwatches use algorithms that rely on data that they collect from you, such as heart rate, speed and distance, which is tracked through GPS for outdoor activities like running or cycling, your activity type that you select, like walking, running outdoors, cycling indoors, strength training, HIIT, whatever you select, and then the inputs of age, weight, fitness level that you usually provide to your watch. And these metrics are combined with known physiological models to estimate VO2 max without requiring direct oxygen consumption measurements, okay? But there are certain factors that affect accuracy. So type of exercise, for example, your VO2 max estimates are most accurate for running and cycling because those activities match the models used in smartwatch algorithms, right? For other activities like, say you're on the elliptical machine at the gym, the data may be less reliable. There's not that much testing. Heart rate monitoring, optical heart rate sensors, these are LEDs to measure blood flow and may be less accurate during high intensity exercise or activities involving a lot of wrist movement. And we are very active with our wrists when we're moving. Chest straps, when they're paired, are more accurate. Okay, so you get the heart rate monitor that you put around your chest, just under your bra line. They measure heart rate so much more accurately, and they will show you the VO2 max estimates much more accurately. Then you've got environmental conditions that you really have to think about: heat, humidity, altitude. These can all skew results. And the quality of the algorithm varies by brand and model as well. So premium devices like your Garmin, your Apple, your Polar tend to have more refined calculations. So, you pay the money to get the better estimates. And then regularly wearing your watch and performing VO2 max specific activities will improve accuracy over time as your device collects more personalized data and is able to relate it to you. So how accurate are they? Compared to lab testing, they deliver like 5 to 15% from lab measured VO2 max values. So not that accurate, okay? For trends, while absolute accuracy may vary, smartwatches are good at tracking trends over time. So trend tracking, yeah, I think they're pretty good. And I'm not an elite athlete. I'm a mom who likes to keep fit. So I don't really need an accurate VO2 max. I look at my smartwatch to see improvement. So it's like, I was here, now I'm up a level. Oh, great. That to me is valuable. So casual fitness tracking, absolutely, it works. For athletes, yeah, you might want to get a really good smartwatch, or you may want to do some lab testing or be with a personal trainer who can do fitness testing in person, In terms of your biological age, now you said your bio age, 12 years older. Yes, I don't think that a smartwatch can really tell you this, because it really has to take in a lot of factors. It can look at your aerobic activity, it can look at your strength training, but it's not going to look at your flexibility and balance, for example, which, you can incorporate through Pilates and yoga and stretching and mobility and things like that, which is a factor to bioage. So, you've got to sort of take it with a pinch of salt. It can track your sleep, which is really good. So that can be linked to premature aging and health issues. And it will track a healthy weight range. but as you put on muscle, you may be getting heavier. It's not really tracking your body composition. So I wouldn't really take that on too much. I never really input my weight and worry about that. And it's not really tracking your nutritional habits, emphasizing that you're eating fruits and vegetables and whole grains and whole foods, and you're getting omega-3 rich foods like fatty fish, flax seeds, and walnuts and all the good stuff, or watching that you're limiting processed foods. At the end of the day, I think track your metrics. Definitely, if that's something that's really important to you, look at your smartwatch, track it, make sure that it's improving. You can go to see a doctor and get your blood pressure, your blood sugars, your cholesterol levels as well. They're always good to check in on and have that as a biomarker every 6 months. But really, I wouldn't get too hung up on what your smartwatch is telling you. Enjoy that you get 200-300 calories done in each session. That's good to know. You can push yourself there. Watch your heart rate. Make sure that you're in your heart rate zones if that's the way that you're training. Stay consistent. But really, in terms of biohacking your bioage, and you can do your cold exposure, your sauna therapy, you can eat well, you can do all those things, but your smartwatch is never going to know. So don't be a slave to the smartwatch. That is the message of today. But just enjoy seeing those metrics improve over time, but don't worry or compare those metrics to anybody else. And if you don't want to trust what's happening on the smartwatch, you can go to DEXA scan clinics. They just scan your body, give you a body composition, talk you through your body composition, how much lean muscle mass you're carrying. And that's a great way. It's not a doctor's surgery. It's not, sterile and all, you don't need an appointment. You can just go in and have a scan and know where you're at, and you're not relying on the scales and you're not relying on the smartwatch, and you have some solid foundation data in which you can go about improving over the next 3 months. Thanks so much for listening to Bounce Forward. I love having your company, so please DM me on Instagram at tiffhall_xo and let me know what topics you'd love me to cover. Don't forget to rate and review me on your podcast app. Speak soon. Happy days.